Welcome back to the Convo Couch, everyone. I am Pasta Jardula.
And I'm Fiorella.
And our man, Jonny Sue, is still spinning on those ones and twos. Fam, we have a crazy show. We have a great show. Thank you for being with us on Sunday Fun Day. Now, listen, right off the bat, if you're on the MCSC YouTube or if you're somewhere else on our Twitter, we want you, wherever you're at, stop, go over to the Convo Couch YouTube. Yes. We are getting suppressed like crazy. And I'm going to make this announcement a couple times through, so please bear with me, but something's up.
Something's up. Just make sure you're subscribed, because what's been happening is people have been getting unsubscribed. I know you hear a lot of other podcasters and YouTubers say this when they're dealing with politics. Now, if we're dealing with makeup, we wouldn't have this problem.
Or sports.
Pasta in a makeup tutorial and me in a
That's it. If I was doing my cooking, if I was doing all that stuff, forget about it.
But when it comes to this, this is happening. And it's happening specifically, I know, because people send me pictures of like what happens when they try to click on the video and all of these things. So please make sure you're subscribed. Please go on the Convo Couch, even if you are on the MCSC network. We are going down in subscribers, and it doesn't make any sense. Because we're getting more views and we're getting more out there. So it really isn't adding up. So YouTube is coming after us, which is why we also support Rockfin, a blockchain-based platform. So you guys can also check us out on there.
Yes, and Frederick Murphy says YouTube has been doing that for a few years. Zero Hedge had an article about it too as well, how anybody who talked against the government, they started slowly suppressing us. Well, right now they got the knob turned completely because we grew pretty big, and it was with your help, guys.
Yeah.
Saul, Karen, Jesus, JD, all you guys up there, Frederick, all our patron Anthony Reyes, Aurelius Prime, Allison Irvin. We're seeing people that we recognize over there, but they're unsubscribing us from our channel. Not only that, they're not hitting the bell and they're not letting people know. So please, right now, take the time, stop what you're doing, like, share, subscribe on our YouTube channel. Please help us out. And also, go to our Rockfin, ROKFIN. That is the pattern we see and the path we see moving forward. Jonny Tsunami's been talking to the Rockfin people on a daily basis. They're trying to improve their whole platform. They have been growing leaps and bounds. And listen, ladies and gentlemen, they're in good hands. The CEO of that company once worked for ESPN and their digital services, so he knows what to do. He knows how to get on there and keep improving the whole system. And we're just going to keep on staying on top of them. But we need you to like, share, subscribe. Going over now. Fam, let me check real quick because I'm not seeing us come up over here.
It should be up on MCSC.
Where's it at?
It should be now.
It's not. There it is. Thank God. Wow. Guys, if you're on the MCSC network and you're watching our show, please go over to the Convo Couch YouTube, like, share, and subscribe. We just want to make sure you're
or
subscribed.
keep both up as long
Yeah.
as you're subscribed to our
Yes.
channel as
We're
well.
losing
so.
subscribers. It's not making any sense.
Okay.
All right, let's get to
So-
it. Hold on a second. We got some people over here on our Facebook, too. I want to say hi to as well. Guys, on the Facebook, we have a bunch of you, 13 of you. Go over to the Convo Couch YouTube, like, share, and subscribe. See, once again, all this thing just stays. There it is. Fam, let's get started. Sunday Fun Day. But it's not so fun as we start off with there was been an accident. Go right ahead, fam.
Oh, so, breaking news just a few hours ago, 10 a.m. Pacific time, Kobe Bryant was killed in a helicopter crash. There were 4 other people that were also killed, among them his 13-year-old daughter, another parent and their child, and the pilot is what has been confirmed thus far. Initially, people were getting reports that none of his children were there or that all of his children were there, but that is the latest information, that it was his daughter. They were going to a game. It's very tragic. We never really talk about, sports or celebrity things here, but we're in Los Angeles. Obviously, Kobe Bryant was a huge NBA player for the Lakers. Pasta can probably speak more into it and what it means for people who are a fan of the sport.
Yeah, well, I mean, actually, when people talk, Kobe Bryant played his whole life, his whole career with the Los Angeles Lakers. He was drafted as a young kid right out of high school. And, just the other day I was listening to a sports show, and it was talking about, okay, LeBron James now with the Lakers. And we're going to go show a little video of LeBron James just talking about Kobe Bryant 15 hours before his death. LeBron James might be one of the best players to ever play in a Laker uniform. That is true. But he spent different times with different teams, with the Miami Heat, back in Cleveland. He's won a title with both. But a lot of people would say, and they just said this on the radio the other day, the best Laker of all time was Kobe Bryant. It comes down to Magic Johnson and maybe Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, but once again, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar spent some time in Milwaukee. But what Kobe Bryant meant to the Lakers was big. Here's LeBron James talking about Kobe Bryant.
It was a dream come true for me to be able to line up alongside of him. Just admired him for so many years, and seeing him from afar, and then being able to be in practices with him, and me watching and learning. So on. I mean, it's just too much. It's just too much. The story is just too much. It doesn't make sense. And just to make a long story short, now I'm here in the Lakers uniform in Philadelphia, where he's from, where one of the first time I ever met him, gave me his shoes. He won All-Star Week. It's surreal. It doesn't make no sense, but the universe just puts things in your life, and when you live in the right way, or you just giving everything to whatever you're doing, things happen organically, and it's not supposed to make sense, but it just happens. And I'm happy to be in any conversation with Kobe Bryant, one of the all-time greatest basketball players to ever play, one of the all-time greatest Lakers. The man got 2 jerseys hanging up in Staples Center. It's just crazy.
Any irony for you as a past first?
So there it is.
Wait, so this is before?
This is 15 hours before. This was just
Oh,
like yesterday.
Wow. He
Yeah.
seems like he's almost like mourning already. He seems upset.
He was celebrating because he just passed Kobe as the number 3 all-time shots.
Is it? I didn't even see what it is. Once again, I don't pay crazy attention to it, like, what I'm saying, whatnot anymore. I'm moving away from sports because I know some people said on the thread they really don't care and stuff. But these people are big platforms. They have a big voice eventually, and we don't know eventually. I think that one of these players like a LeBron James can really bring a sense of what's going on overseas and how these shoes are made in sweatshops, and eventually bring maybe they can save a town by starting their own shoe company. So we don't know where these people are. I always wish a person like Kobe or LeBron could do that. But Kobe Bryant is dead at the age of 41. His daughter Gianna as well, in a helicopter crash, was also a basketball player too, is also dead. And that is just a sad thing
for their families.
For today.
Yeah.
So breaking news on now this was what we saw last night, fam. When you this to me, this just blew me away. And it said a lot too about what was going on. So
there was a leaked it was a video, but it's difficult to call it a video because the guy was pretty much putting the phone down the whole time. So Johnny went ahead and made a condensed version at 55 minutes where they start talking about Bernie Sanders and what happened. But this whole thing has been used by the mainstream media to talk about what is it, like Russia, Ukraine, Donald Trump's impeachment trial.
Yeah.
And they completely ignored this part of the recording, understandably so, because it makes them look bad. It puts Hillary Clinton as somebody with no political instincts. It puts Hillary Clinton as somebody that had absolutely no intuition as to what she should have done, because a lot of people would have voted for a ticket with Clinton and Bernie in it. Even though she cheated him, a lot of people would have voted for it.
So, Johnny, let me know when you're ready.
Yeah.
So the original video that was posted, the guy released it on Twitter, the guy I mentioned, and then Mother Jones posted it on YouTube. Lev Partner's full video, Trump telling associates to get rid of Ambassador Marie Yovanovitch.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
So here's the edited one that we did.
Had she picked Bernie Sanders, it would have been tougher. It was the only one I didn't want her to pick.
He disappeared at the debate.
He disappeared at the debate.
Bernie Sanders thought about it. They rigged it. Bernie would have beat Hillary in them right now.
That would have been tougher.
Yeah,
I
agree.
Because there was no hatred.
Right, you're right. There
Right.
was no hatred.
Millennials
were right.
I mean, she's
As great as he was, half my motivation working was not let her do it.
100%.
right.
And that's what I think a big part of our
Bernie
reason.
vice president would have been tougher.
Yeah,
She picked a real stiff
Kane was what I couldn't.
But I
that
think
was a
Bernie,
plus.
because all those people that hated her so much who voted for me. I got 20% of Bernie vote. People don't realize that because of trade, because he's a big trade guy. He basically says we're getting excluded on trade. And he's right. I'm worse than he is. And we can do something about it. I don't know if he could have. But had she picked Bernie Sanders, it would have been tougher. It was the only one I didn't want her to pick. Now, then people say, no, it would have been easier because then her sort of establishment, normal Democrats would have come to me. So she may have lost a lot of votes, too.
You're right, so you don't know.
I don't understand.
I think the Democrats, the only thing they do well is they stick together. So I don't know that.
What is
Yeah,
the
they
deal
do.
that
They're
Bernie
really-
and Hillary have? Why is he not
He should be
speaking
going
up for
crazy.
himself?
He should be going
Because
crazy.
Is Bernie
they took him
gonna
in
be? It is funny how he has not gone crazy, right?
because they took him in a locked room. They had a conversation. with him.
They
Of course.
They have to.
Of course, they had a
He
conversation.
has 3 beach houses. Like,
Of
He
course.
should be going nuts.
Is he going to be
100%.
running?
I don't think so.
I think he might.
You think he might again?
Because he does a lot of television. Usually when they do a lot of television, that means they're running.
Biden seems like he's.
I like it because I'm
Biden. I hope Biden.
It's so freaking juicy, fam. Thanks for getting a hold of that, man. I mean, whoever put it on Twitter, but once again, to have the eyes and ears and grab that. And you're right, they didn't talk about that, and that had so much stuff. And they even talked about they got Bernie Sanders in a locker room. A lot of us assume that there was some type of pressure given to Bernie Sanders to make him go on Hillary's side and to suspend the rules at the convention and not protest what was going on. So it even had that. But you see what Donald Trump is. He has political intuition.
Yeah.
He understood. He's the only one we didn't want to. That was trouble. He understood it. Yeah, he laid out another scenario where some of the people might have flipped to Donald Trump, but Donald Trump knows, like saying the neoliberals would have flipped to him.
Yeah.
But Donald Trump knows that Bernie Sanders causes problems, and he causes problems this time.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth noting that I don't know about the 20% statistic of burners voting for him, but he did
It's
mention,
like 12%.
but yeah, it's a little bit less than that. But he did mention the trade deal, and that is something that Bernie did agree with Trump. It's something that neoliberals try to use against Bernie because they wanted that NAFTA, because they wanted that. And it's one of the reasons why a lot of people who, not a lot, but some amounts of people were like, I'd rather vote for Trump than Hillary, because if you recall, people in the Midwest and people in places like West Virginia, they were pretty much stripped out of their livelihoods because of NAFTA. And Hillary Clinton paid zero attention to those people. And Donald Trump knew that. He was astute enough to know that. And that this isn't to give Donald Trump credit, but it's like he had more political instincts than Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
And that's something that he realized.
You
He also
can give
realized
him credit on that.
You can give him credit on that. Yeah, but we're not,
what he's saying is a lot more in line with what we were thinking as far as what happened in 2016 than what the actual Democrats establishment presented us.
Right.
Donald Trump, he even says, like, that's the only one we didn't want to face. I have Republican friends that call me to this day, like, Post, why didn't she pick him as the vice president? We wouldn't have a Donald Trump. And these are diehard Trump fans that even say it, and they still call me and they say, why are they treating him like this? Why are they doing this to him? It's okay to say that Donald Trump had better political intuition than the whole Hillary Clinton campaign did, because he won.
Yeah, he won, and she lost to one of the least liked candidates, and she became the least liked candidate, and she's still out there giving advice as if her advice is worthy of taking. It's just funny. But another thing I want to point out is that Bernie Sanders, again, this is the entire point of this thing. Bernie Sanders beats Trump, and if he would have done it with being Hillary Clinton's VP, he sure as hell can do it being the front runner against Trump. Now, VPs matter. Yeah. This is another thing that this points out. Whoever is VP is going to determine a lot of this election. This is why we have been talking about this situation, not because we want to get ahead of ourselves here, but because whoever Bernie Sanders picks as his VP is either going to help him win or might help him lose. Because here's the thing, I think Bernie beats Trump, but I also think that because of impeachment and because of a lot of things that the Democrats have done and looked ridiculous on, some people, you can't blackmail them with the whole Trump is evil, bad. You need to pick a neoliberal. You need to pick any blue will do.
Nope.
It's not going to work. It didn't work last time. It's not going to work this time. So if you don't get someone that's going to go and grab votes from independents, from non-voters, from some Republicans, Bernie Sanders is going to have a lot more difficult time of beating Donald Trump. We want to win in a landslide because we don't know what the Republicans are going to do. If the Democrats cheat, we know the Republicans cheat. That's been already documented as well. We can't have any sort of situation where we are barely squeaking by. It has to be monumental, and this is why whoever the VP is cannot be a centrist candidate like a Stacey Abrams that a lot of people have put forth. It can't be Kamala Harris that a lot of people thought maybe Bernie Sanders would pick, because that would get a few echo chamber Democrats. That's it.
How many? What third party got the most votes last time? Gary Johnson and the Libertarian Party. If there was only a Democrat that really aligned with a lot of those libertarian views that could really grab them and poach them away from Donald Trump, and maybe we would have it. If there was a Democrat out there that was just anti-interventionist, that was, pro-civil liberties, believed in election integrity, wants to, have criminal justice reform by way of decriminalizing drugs. If we had that type of Democrat out there that Bernie Sanders could just join, oh my God, what would happen?
The problem is that there are a lot of people, in this progressive movement that don't like Tulsi Gabbard. And it's just, and to me, it's based on just fabrications and there is no policy. I mean, I have policy differences, a few with her. That's why I'm a Bernie Sanders supporter domestically. But there are things she hits that he doesn't. And there are weaknesses he has that she builds upon, and the same vice versa. And so I look at the bigger picture and I see the majority of the hatred towards her is completely emotional. It is not, it's nonsensical. It is illogical. And I'm not saying it has to be Tulsi Gabbard personally, but I think she is the strongest choice. I like Nina Turner a lot. I have heard that she does not want the job. I have a video about all of this too coming, but I just want to say, I think she would be the strongest candidate. And I know I've said this on Ron's show, and Graham's, the political vigilante. We've constantly be talking about this.
See, here's the thing. What we can't have is a vice president that would be detrimental to the ticket, which Elizabeth Warren would be, because any type of establishment connected person, and she was, and we're going to go into it and stuff like that. Once again, the Democratic Party does not want to change, as evidence of who they're picking for now. We're going to these committees right at this topic, but the fact is, you could put a Nina Turner there. She might not increase the ticket, but as long as you include a Tulsi Gabbard inside the administration, like a Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense, then that's a winning combination.
And who knows if Tulsi even wants to be, VP. I mean, we don't know. We're just making assumptions. But what I'm saying is she would be database like logically the best candidate. And I think Nina Turner could get some votes in South Carolina. She's right there right now, talking to the African American community and doing those things where, I mean, that is a place where Tulsi doesn't really have that pull yet.
Yeah.
But I think she has the pull in rural, the Midwest, and the South. So let's move on to
the committees, because it just emulates more of what you say about the Democratic Party not wanting to change. Any connection to the establishment whatsoever is a cancer. It's going to hurt the ticket. It's not going to help it.
Yes.
That's why Elizabeth Warren is one of the worst candidates to put as the vice president, because she doesn't add anything to the ticket.
No, she subtracts.
Exactly.
Elizabeth Warren would be a detrimental mistake. I think maybe others would maybe not increase it for Bernie that much, but I think Elizabeth Warren would make people not vote
It'd go the other
with
way.
Bernie.
Yeah.
Like even people who really like Bernie wouldn't vote for that.
Kamala
ticket.
Harris go the other way. Pete Buttigieg go the other way. Joe Biden, forget about it. Just tap it in.
Yeah.
And more or less too as well. It's who the Democrat. We said this now. It's floating out there. The Democrats rather lose to Donald Trump than let a progressive than Bernie Sanders become president, and it's more evident by who these people have chosen.
Yep.
Fam, my favorite person right off the bat, right?
Yeah. So let's break down actually what first, because Robledo, as always, does great work.
I love this guy.
And you guys can see the list here of the nominees. And I know for a fact that John Podesta was confirmed, and also one of the Cohen people, I believe, who it's actually a good thing. But Larry Cohen. Yeah. That's actually a good one. But the rest have been pretty bad. So here is the vice chair, Shafiel Dougal, who was on the National Finance Board for Hillary Clinton's 2016 campaign. Yeah, this is just on the thread below.
There it goes.
And this guy was also on the he's just a guy on the National Advisory Board of Inside Washington. So he's an insider, an establishment insider who has represented Hillary Clinton's campaign in 2016. The next one is Tonio Burgos.
Bourgeois.
Sorry, I couldn't. Tonio Bourgeois or Burgo or however you say it. He was a Hillary donor in 2016 as well. He donated to the Hillary Victory Fund, which we know is extremely corrupt.
In that thread, Robbie's thread. Yeah. The comment thread. My bad. Sorry. Elizabeth Bagley.
Yeah. And then Jake Sullivan was Hillary Clinton's senior policy advisor.
It's the same people.
Let's see. The Platform Committee co-chair, Julia Chavez Rodriguez, was most recently Kamala Harris's national political co-director. There she is. And you can read about, here Robbie says, the Rules Committee, Barney Frank. We know Barney Frank. So I have some things on Barney Frank here in the folder. Johnny, so we're going to go after, we're going to go, wait. We're going to go to him in a minute, but let's start with Bakari Sellers too. So Bakari Sellers is an AIPAC funded, guy that many of you know on Twitter. He goes on Twitter constantly attacking Bernie Sanders.
Tulsi
constantly
too.
He hates Tulsi.
He was the one who dropped. I was the Russian one who said that he was the one to first break the news that she was a Russian on CNN.
He's AIPAC funded. He was a Hillary/Kamala surrogate. He's an ex-CNN talking head. And here are some screenshots of what he's done. It says, Bakari Sellers' service to AIPAC is a repudiation and perversion of SNCC's internationalist and humanitarian values. A prime duty of white people's or Zionist black surrogates is to act as torpedoes against troublesome black activists. Sellers' assignment is to be counterpoint to anti-corporate, anti-imperialist critics of Israeli policy.
Like Dr. Cornel West.
One of Bernie Sanders' delegates on the Platform Committee. When CNN trotted Sellers out to defend Clinton's 1990s record of spreading racist hysteria against black male, quote, super predators, West admonished him to remember, quote, the legacy of your blessed father. Look at his example. He was not just fighting against racism. He was fighting against the class system as well. And said West, you can't do that as a Wall Street Democrat. And Cornel West has always been instrumental in calling out the hypocrisy of some in the black community that have continuously voted for neoliberals.
Dude, did you see that? Did you ever see that video? It was terrible because Bakari Sellers is such an asshole. He goes, I know I don't have as many degrees as you, Cornel. Like, he says that to Dr. Cornel West. I'm like, what a jerk off. But I think that Cornel West had was a little bit polite to him because of Bakari's father, maybe. I don't know.
Okay, so Bakari Sellers, again, is an also longtime operative for AIPAC, the deep-pocketed cutthroat lobby for Israel. In a letter to the Democratic Party officials last month, Sellers claimed to have gathered the signatures of 60, quote, lifelong black Democrats urging rejection of any changes to the party's slavishly pro-Israel 2020 platform positions, denouncing them as anti-Semitic. The global movement against Israeli oppression of Arabs in Palestine and the nearly 50-long-year occupation of the West Bank. Quote, since the last platform was approved, anti-Semitism has been on the rise and has taken a new form, the boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement known as BDS. So he is trying to paint BDS as pretty much anti-Semitic, and he's trying to, prop up AIPAC as protecting the Jews, and if you don't do that, blah, 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 you're anti-Semitic.
Another quote.
And this last quote that we have
asshole.
here,
I
he
don't
says,
have a problem.
yeah, I don't have a problem with Bernie getting the race. Quote, when is he getting out is probably a better question.
When are you getting out?
So,
Bakari, when are you leaving? Phony.
Yeah, he's disgusting. The fact that he's there is awful.
Phony. Really terrible.
Barney Frank, he's the guy. We know he's a Bernie hater, longtime Bernie hater.
Yep.
He's retired from Congress after ties to Freddie and Fannie Mac were exposed. He got the government bailout money after pushing deregulations for banks, and he was involved in a prostitution scandal as well. Here you can see that Judicial Watch obtained internal documents from the Treasury Department that prove Frank helped steer $12 million in federal bailout funds to a Boston bank, One United, that eventually got shut down by the government. He intervened on behalf of his equally corrupt friend, California Congresswoman Maxine Waters, who held shares in the failing bank that also listed her husband, Sidney Williams, as a board member. So people who say, what's wrong with Maxine? That's wrong. One of the things that's wrong with Sister Maxine. The first is the largest financial. He was part of one of the largest financials in recent history. The first is the collapse of the government-sponsored Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, which, as many of us know, triggered this nation's financial crisis. These documents had Frank, that was well aware of Fannie and Freddie were in deep trouble due to the corruption and incompetence, yet they did nothing to stop it. Again, one of these people that knew what was happening and pretty much looked the other way.
Frank. Oh, bless us.
Yeah, he just has a long history of speaking out against Bernie, hating
Bill
on
Maher
him.
regular. I haven't seen him in a while.
But the worst one of all of this.
It is.
John Podesta.
They don't care.
I mean, this
John
is just
Podesta.
laughable. And Pasa, you want to read this one here? Because this is
I agree with that in principle. Where would you like to stick the knife in? Bernie needs to needs to be ground to a pulp. We can't start believing our own party primary bullshit. Crush him as hard as he can. Other than that, hope all is well, and congrats in Nevada. He was a little nice at the end, at least. All is well. That's John Podesta. Sorry.
John Podesta is obviously
Johnny P.
Involved in the WikiLeaks emails. There are many where that came from. He's a huge Hillary Clinton donor, lobbyist, surrogate. The fact that he's still in there after it was proven that he was instrumental to the rigging of the 2016 elections is absolutely, I mean, I don't even have words for it. Like, this is democracy. We don't live in a democracy. We live in a freaking oligarchy where these elites just run everything, and people just we've just become accepting of it, and we need to stop being accepting of it. This is not okay. These people should not be on these committees at all in any way, shape, or form. And the fact this guy was fully confirmed even says to me that the Democratic Party is building themselves. They're arming themselves for a contested convention. That is what they're doing. If Bernie Sanders, of course, goes to a contested convention, it is going to be a lot more difficult to overcome because these superdelegates are going to get in there somehow because, he is, I mean, look at the top three. It's Biden, Warren, and Bernie. He's by himself again. And this is why a lot of us were pushing for Tulsi Gabbard to get in there, because we believe that she is his only ally, and together they would actually be able to stand up to the establishment. Now, if she does well in New Hampshire, that could be a possibility, but we're going to talk about that in a minute.
Yes, we are.
They've excluded her from the town halls in New Hampshire. I mean, this is the establishment fighting against progressivism, actual progressivism. So,
and they've been saying they'd rather they've been showing their actions. They'd rather let Trump win than let a progressive take over. I just want to say thank you very much for everybody who's watching today on Sunday Fun Day. If you're on the Convo couch, YouTube, you're in the right place. Make sure you like, share it, and subscribe. If you're on the MCSE network, do us a favor. We've been losing subscribers. Something's going on. We're trying to beef it up. Get on over to the Convo Couch YouTube. Like, share, subscribe. And if everybody gets a chance, if you haven't done it yet, Rockfin, ROKFIN. It's the way forward. Super chat contribution, as it is always appreciated on the couch. You're not getting away from it on Sunday, fam. It says Patrick S. Laughing my ass off. Pasta, you're a nut. Yes, but I'm a thankful nut. I'm a humble nut. I am so thankful for what you guys are doing.
Still a nut.
Yes, sometimes you feel like a nut. Sometimes you don't. We're going to kick ass this primary season. If you haven't gone to our GoFundMe, you can. Please help us out. We have 10 minutes. Chloe Joan, thanks for streaming today, guys. I need a good distraction from the news. Yes, life is crazy. It is going on. There is all hell breaking loose. Fam, tell us about Tulsi, what happened right now.
So if you guys recall the video of Warren, I mean, we don't have to play it, but there was a video of Warren where she was asked about what Hillary Clinton's remarks on Bernie, and she completely ignored it. And
well, Hillary Clinton said that no one likes Bernie Sanders and no one in the Senate wanted to work with him. Is she right?
I'm not going there. Look, we are trying right now to manage an impeachment trial and at the same time to talk about why we're running for president.
Okay, so I'm not going to play the whole thing because she completely skipped the whole thing. Let's look at what Tulsi Gabbard said when faced with the same question.
Do you agree with President Trump that the Democrats are trying to sabotage Bernie Sanders?
I think that there's clearly some powerful forces who are trying to keep him from gaining more traction. I think that people like Bernie and myself scare a lot of the Democratic establishment in Washington because they can't control us. You know, Bernie and I agree on some things, disagree on others, but look, my loyalty, my focus, my mission is to serve the people of our country, and I'll call it straight. I say what I mean what I say, and no one can have any doubt that as I make decisions, the kind of leadership that I'll bring will continue this commitment to service that I've had throughout my entire adult life, service to our country and the American people.
Do you agree with...
Okay, so she was asked a slightly different question because Donald Trump made a tweet saying, hey, you know, they're trying to cheat Bernie again, blah, blah, blah. And she even stood up for Bernie because Bernie didn't even say that. He was even like, oh, Donald Trump, blah, blah, blah. Like well, not necessarily directly Bernie, but his campaign didn't even respond to that. But she is saying there are forces, there are people there that are afraid of Bernie and I. She didn't just say her or him. She said both of them. And this is true. You can see this with how they're treating them. They're smearing him left and right as a sexist, as his base being like crazy Bernie bros. They're smearing her base as tool cells, as people who are, just Russian assets and all of these things. And those are the only two that the is attacking, which means those are the only two that are doing the right thing. So if you don't know that by now, I'm telling you that right now. Those are the only two that are doing the right thing.
Yeah. And CNN once again announces the Democratic president town halls in New Hampshire, fam. And guess who's left out?
Tulsi Gabbard. So Tulsi Gabbard has been left out of the town halls.
Develop Patrick, right?
Who's polling at 1% is included. This is why, I mean, a lot of people were like, well, she's not even, no, she's top 5. She's actually probably higher than these polls say.
Yes.
Based on my friends who are there on the ground.
I can't wait till we don't have to listen to these polls anymore, family. We can see actual results.
Exactly. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. New Hampshire has pretty decent, filling
up rooms.
Yeah. Well, New Hampshire has pretty decent voting situation compared to the rest of us. But one thing I wanted to tell Tulsi Gabbard to do is to have a town hall herself on her own, or maybe partner up with someone in Fox.
She does.
Be able to do that and because have an opposition to what's going on.
Yeah.
No, I mean during the same
time.
Yeah, during the same time.
See, that's good campaign advice. And
I mean, I just think I think a lot of people would benefit from that.
And the Iowa polls show that Sanders is surging. It has Buttigieg, Biden second, Warren third, Klobuchar, Steyer fifth, and Yang sixth. Warren falling. But once again, I'm done listening to these polls, watching these polls. I really think that they're unloading the chamber and trying to attack Bernie because when it comes, Bernie's going to win and he's going to win hard. It's what happens behind him, the momentum behind him. Who's going to go with Bernie and start getting more time, more popular from the people and be able to join his campaign?
Yeah, and I just want to say, hold on, and I just want to say that the Times poll is significant because he's leading by 7%. That's a huge margin, especially in Iowa. And if anybody else were leading, if Warren or Buttigieg or Biden were leading by that margin, you'd see it plastered everywhere. They're not talking about it. The other poll is the New Hampshire poll. That's another one where he's also leading. Again, this is the latest one. I think it came up this morning, and he is leading this poll as well. And you know what? The reality is that Bernie Sanders is also most favorable among millennials to this one. And Tulsi actually has a good favorability in that poll as well.
Yeah.
So
Well,
these are the
our
two
area.
first states, two of the first primary states that are very important and people are going to be looking at. We're going to be in New Hampshire.
But the Des Moines Register.
But the Des Moines Register decided to register to endorse Warren.
Well, at least they didn't do Wabasha together.
Yeah, they just
didn't
did
do
Warren.
you know.
But Warren is literally consistently polling in fourth place. So I mean, I really don't know what they're endorsing him. And in retrospect, all that's been happening is Bernie being smeared as a sexist, as a misogynist, that saying that he doesn't have female voters. This is all they just continue to harp on. They continued saying that the Joe Rogan endorsement is a mistake. They want to push him to apologize. He has not. And I think that would have been a huge mistake if he had. It would have just been awful. And the campaign just issued a full-on pretty much statement saying, this is from Brianne Joy Gray, the goal of our campaign is to build a multiracial, multi-generational movement that is large enough to defeat Donald Trump and the powerful special interests whose greed and corruption is the root cause of the outrageous inequality in America. Sharing that big tent requires including those who do not share every one of our beliefs, while always making clear that we will never compromise our values. The truth is, by standing together, it's solidarity. We share the values of love. In solidarity, we share the values of love and respect that will move us in the direction of a more humane, more equal world. So that's, and here's a meme that I just wanted to show you guys, because the
So
neoliberals are pearl clutching over Joe Rogan, but they're fine with us, unifying
Elitist asshole logic.
with warmongers. And,
Good.
that's cool. But when it
Good.
comes to Joe Rogan, a guy who may have views I disagree with when it comes to trans people, when it comes to certain things that I don't agree with, he has never voted Republican in his goddamn life, and somehow he's a right-wing
Well, he voted for Gary
nationalist.
Johnson.
But
because he did his show. and
So
we're
anyway,
not.
I know we have to get going.
No, but that's the last subject we're going to do today, because we can't get into these other subjects. There's just too much information. There's too much nuance going on to talk about them. So we'll kick into the road. Right now, we got to wrap up the show. We have other appointments, other events going on. But I want to say thank you to everybody who's watching on the Facebook and on the MCSC network on YouTube. If you're not subscribed to the Convo Couch, please help us out. We are losing subscribers. Something is going on.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to quote Donald Trump. Something is going on over there, but simple language. Something is going on. We are moving backwards. So we need your help. Go on over to our Convo Couch YouTube. Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, do all the things, check on it. They are actually taking away likes from Fiorella's tweets out there, just like they're taking away likes from Tulsi Gabbard's tweets.
Yeah,
this has
good.
happened. Somebody told me this morning, say, Pasta, I've liked Fiorella's tweet like 3 times now. So they're starting to do that. They're starting to suppress us.
it's
This
so
is real, ladies and
weird.
gentlemen.
It's
We
just-
need your help.
I can't.
It's
I don't
not
even get
weird.
it. No, it's just
It's
weird.
not
It's
weird.
weird to me because I just don't
Silence
get.
the truth
I don't
tellers.
get the point, and it's like and I think anything to do with Tulsi is automatically pushed aside. And you guys have seen my tweets where I've taken a video of how many times I've liked the Hillary is a warmonger, Queen of Warmongers tweet.
Yeah.
It's been 8 times.
Yeah.
So yeah, guys, just support us, please.
Yes.
Check that you're subscribed. Thank you so much for
And
watching.
real quick, I just want to give a quick update to the coronavirus.
Please do.
CDC. I just want to put it down on record because
Go
the
ahead,
other
go,
day
go,
I
go.
checked this
Definitely.
site and it said something else. So the CDC is closely monitoring an outbreak of respiratory illness caused by novel coronavirus first identified in Wuhan, China. Chinese authorities identified the new coronavirus, which has resulted in more than 1,000 confirmed cases in China. That number is up, including cases outside Wuhan City. That sentence wasn't there before. Additional cases have been identified in a growing number of other international locations,
United
including the
States.
United States, where 5 cases and travelers from Wuhan have been confirmed in 4 states: Arizona, California, Illinois, and Washington. Before, it was just 1 case in Washington. Now there's 5 cases as of today, January 26, 2020. There are ongoing investigations to learn more. And I had a whole segment ready for this, but we are short on time.
Just show the one thing about where it came from in 2015, if you have that, so we could just put that on record.
No, because I don't know about that.
Okay, we don't have that. We don't go on. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. We see that a couple people have now subscribed. Hopefully they're just not resubscribed because they took you out. Please go on over, like, share, subscribe. Go over to our Rockfin, ROKFIN. We also have a GoFundMe. Very important, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
We're hitting the road. We're getting out there for the primaries. We're going to see if there's any shenanigans. LA itself, too, when we come back and we circle the wagons for around here is one of the locations, a hotspot for corruption and fuckery. So help us out. Go to our GoFundMe. Give $1, give $2. Get us on the campaign trail so we can be your eyes and ears. Remember, TYT ain't the same. They ain't going to watch for you this year. You're stuck with us. So for Pasta Jardula
and Fiorella,
Johnny Sue on those 1s and 2s. Like, share, subscribe.
Combo out.
Bye, everybody. Happy Sunday. Sunday fun day. We love you.